let this breathe.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Today, we're going to break down Kentucky. Kentucky is tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Colonial Life Arena. It's senior day. It is a big happening. We have 5 Gamecocks who are going to walk. Tahina Pow, Raven, Breezy, Sania Feagin, and Sakima Walker. All these players are going to be walking tomorrow for senior day. All of them, with the exception of Raven Johnson, has exhausted their playing eligibility. So it's going to be a sad day, but also a happy day because of what they've given to this program. And in terms of Kentucky is a very very good basketball team. And right now, they're 22-5 overall. They're 11-14 in conference play. They're 20th in net ranking. They're 5-4 in quadrant 1. They're 4-4 versus top 25 teams. They've beat some really solid basketball teams. They've beaten Vanderbilt by 18. They beat Alabama by 9. They beat Oklahoma by 9. And they beat Tennessee by a big old 24 points. Put a whooping up on Tennessee. They are a talented basketball team. And currently they sit number 4 in the SEC. You have South Carolina number 1 and tied with Texas for number 1. And then you have, LSU. And then you got Kentucky. If everything started today, more than likely, first of all, Kentucky would get a bye. But they will more than likely, play Alabama for which is the 5th seed on Friday. Okay, that would be what Kentucky is doing. Take this gum out of my mouth, irritating me. But that's Kentucky, very good team, and Carolina got to play basketball on tomorrow afternoon in order to get that W. It's not a situation where we just stroll into the Colonial Life Arena and Kentucky just lays down and we just beat them by 25 points. No. That's not the situation that's going to go down for South Carolina. We have to play basketball tomorrow. And when you have a team like Kentucky that is 22-5 and 11-4 in the conference, obviously they have a bunch of strengths on their basketball team. The first strength we're going to talk about is their 2-point percentage. Kentucky is 9th in 2-point percentage across the NCAA. And a big part of that is their forwards. They're going to play 6'5", 6'3", 6'3", and they're gonna play them, and they're big and they're physical, and they score a high field goal percentage. MiLaysia Fulwiley shooting 61%, Tiona Key shooting 59%, and Clara Strack is shooting 55%. So that is a good reason why they are so highly in the top 10 in terms of 2-point percentage, and that's something that Carolina got to deal with. They're 14th in assist to turnover ratio, and for Georgia Moore, her assist to turnover ratio is 2.2 to 1, which is really good. Anytime, in my opinion, anytime you have a assist to turnover ratio of at least 1.5 to 1, you're doing some things. And hers is 2.2. Very, very good basketball player. She's in her 5th year and played for Kenny Brooks at Virginia Tech. Now playing for him in Kentucky and going to the W this year. And then you move on to the free throw percentage, and Georgia is shooting at a 85% clip, and which makes that even more special is that the number of attempts. She's like 3rd in the SEC in regards to free throw attempts. So she's going to get to the foul line. Our job as South Carolina basketball fans is to hope that we limit her into the number of attempts she get at the free throw line. Those easy baskets. You shooting 85% from the free throw line, they're too easy. Those almost gimme baskets, and Georgia Moore is the engine for this team. She's the engine for this team. She's going to take the most shots. She's going to get the most assists. She's going to get those turnovers. But their team, 25th in assists per basketball game, and Georgia getting 7.1 assists per game. That is great basketball assist percentage for them. And for her in particular, 30th in offensive rating. They have 3 players that has a good offensive rating. Not gonna say they're spectacular offensive rating, but Deja Lawrence has offensive rating of 116.8. Amelia Hassett, 113.3, and Georgia has a 109.7. None of those are like Tahina Pow offensive ratings or Joyce Edwards offensive ratings, but it's solid offensive ratings for this basketball team, and it works for them. 31st in fewest turnovers per game. They average 13 turnovers per basketball game. Not too many. You know, Carolina is top 10 in that regard, but not sitting here and saying that Georgia commits turnovers the ball a lot, because they don't. They really don't. They're 33rd in field goal percentage and shoot 46% from the field. You know, they are a overall really good offensive team. Now, it brings me to this point right here. This is a big aspect, a big point of the game tomorrow. They're 48th in the country. 48th in the country in 3-point attempts. 3-point attempt rate. They shoot 41% of their shots are 3-pointers. There will be a ton of 3-pointers in tomorrow's game. How we defend the 3, which we have done a much better job in defending the 3, will determine a big part of this game tomorrow. Now, with that being said, you would think that because they are shooting 41% of their baskets from the 3-point line, that they would be shooting a great percentage. Well, that's not Kentucky. Kentucky is 130th in 3-point percentage. Carolina shoots a higher 3-point percentage than Kentucky. You have, multiple players for Kentucky that shoot it a lot, but not necessarily those baskets go in. We spoke about Georgia a couple minutes ago when talking about she's going to lead the team in shots. Well, a good part of that is 3-point attempts. She shoots 8 3-point attempts per basketball game. Of those 8 3-point attempts, she only shoots about 33%. And then you move on to Amelia Hassett, who we talked about before. She's shooting 35% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. And finally, Clara Strack, she shoot about 3 attempts per basketball game, and her percentage is only 20%. So you have 17 attempts from these 3 players per basketball game that's shooting a low percentage. But Kentucky is going to jack them up. Hopefully tomorrow afternoon we defend the 3 and a bunch of those shots don't go in. And then it's just how they play. It's just a style of play, and yeah, they don't run a fast-paced offense. They run a deliberate offense, and they shoot the 3 a lot. Their pace of play is 101st. I'm looking forward to this game for many reasons. I'm looking forward to some of the matchups which we will discuss later. But more importantly, guarding the 3 is a big part of this basketball game. They got some weaknesses. We just talked about the 3-point percentage, but also an offensive rebounding percentage. They're ranked 231st in offensive rebounding percentage. That's terrible. They are a terrible offensive rebounding team. And the reason is they mostly play 4 or 5 out and launch the 3. So when you playing like that, you missing them, you're not going to get a lot of rebounds. So this is an opportunity for our team to get a bunch of defensive rebounds. We need the same effort that we did against Ole Miss. We need the same effort on getting the offensive boards and the defensive boards. They are a poor team. Let's make them even more poor. Let's make them feel some type of way about their offensive rebounding. Let's break down 3 players. Three players that I'm looking at tomorrow that we need to play well against. The head of the snake is Georgia. And she's going to get you 36 minutes. Tomorrow, she's probably going to play the whole game. She's getting you 19 points, 42% from the field on 16 attempts, 33%, like we just mentioned, on 7 to 8 attempts per basketball game, 85% from the free throw line on 4 attempts. Okay, a couple of rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 3 turnovers. That is her. She is first in the SEC in total assists. Okay, she is 3rd in the SEC in minutes played. She's going to play a lot. She's 6th in the SEC in free throw percentage. 7th in the SEC and field goal attempts. 8th in the SEC in points, and ninth in the SEC in turnovers. When you have the ball in your hand as much as she does, and she has that high usage rate, and everything goes through her, and she's going to play the whole game. If you're the head of the snake, there's one or two players that can defend that, and we'll discuss that in a few. Clara Strack, 31 minutes, 15 points, 48% from the field on 12 attempts, 20% from three, 77% from the free throw line on 3 attempts. She's averaging a double-double with 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. The biggest part of her game, in my humble opinion, is a block shot. She averages about 3 block shots per basketball game and 2 turnovers. Now, when you are, averaging 31 minutes, we don't have anyone on our basketball team averaging 31 minutes and 36 minutes or 33 minutes. And those are the 3 players I'm focusing on from Kentucky. But sometimes they're cumulative stats. And I think that applies to Clara Strack. She's first in the SEC in blocks, 3rd in the SEC in defensive rebounds, 5th in the SEC in total rebounds, and 13th in the SEC in offensive rebounds. She's 6'5". She's 6'5". Let's begin with that. And Tiona Key is 6'3". That's a situation for most basketball teams. The size, because we're going to be up in arms. Oh, we need to play Adhel at 6'5". Oh, we got to play Sakima at 6'6". No, continue doing what we're doing with the post position, rotation that we have, and we'll be fine. Stay doing what we do and let them adjust to us. Let them adjust to Chloe. Let them adjust to Feagin. Let them adjust to Joyce, because they have to defend them as well. And finally, Deja Lawrence. Deja Lawrence is 33 minutes, 13 points, 48% for the field on 10 attempts, and 42% from 3 on 5 attempts, and shooting 77% from the free throw line on 2 attempts. We'll get you a couple rebounds, a couple assists, 1 steal, a couple turnovers. She's a very solid basketball player. Those are, in my opinion, the big 3, if you will. All 3 leading scorer, and Clara Strack leads the team in rebounding. But there are some on their defense. Kentucky good. Kentucky is a good basketball team all around, offensively and defensively. 2nd in blocks per game. That is the Clara Strack factor, getting 3 per basketball game. That is Tiona Key getting 2 blocks per game. Tiona Key is 6'3", and she can block shots. So this, I talked about the rotation of the post for us. Those 3 super duper players that we have. Some of the shots gonna get blocked. That is a given. They block more shots than South Carolina does. Some of them will get blocked. And there will be some fouls in tomorrow's game. Just continue to be aggressive, tend to go to the basket, and draw fouls, because Kentucky plays 6 players. That's it. They play 6 basketball players. They don't play a bunch of players who are pretty good on the bench. They stick with their 6, and most of the time they're going to stick with their 5. And I think that can be exploited in multiple ways with our depth, because we will play 9, 10 players tomorrow. If the game is a blowout, we're going to play everybody. Field goal percentage allowed, they're 7th in the country. And 3-point percentage allowed, they're 8th in the country. Their metric of field goal percentage and blocks per game and 2-point percentage and 3-point percentage is very good, which makes them a solid to great defensive team. But they have their weaknesses. They have their weaknesses too. They have their flaws, and I believe South Carolina can exploit some of those flaws. Defensive rating is 56 in the country. Those flaws that we're talking about, defensive rebounding, they're 154th in defensive rebounding percentage. That means that South Carolina have a whole bunch of opportunities to get offensive rebounds. So you on the scores board, with Carolina being a top 10 team in terms of offensive rebounding and averaging about 15 offensive rebounds a game, this is a time for Chloe to get a bunch of offensive rebounds. It's time for Sania to get a bunch, and for Raven and Fulwiley to snatch a few as well. 345th in steals per basketball game. They don't steal the ball much at all. They're one of the poorest teams in terms of, steal percentage. I think that steal percentage presents a opportunity for us to get into our offense better, because they're not going to be, as disruptive as some of the teams that we played in the past. That's just not the way they play. I think it will give our offense a time to gel early on and get comfortable. I really do. Teams that give South Carolina problems are teams that are disruptive against us. Ole Miss was everywhere. They gave our guards fits. I don't see the same thing happening against Kentucky. I think our guards will get loose and score a bunch of points at home. Some of the matchups that we have in this basketball game is so dope. I mean, it's just amazing. You're talking about, Georgia Amore versus Raven Johnson and MiLaysia Fulwiley. She's going to get a big dose of both of those players. With her playing the whole game, she has to defend both of those players as well. I mentioned how good she is offensively. She is very good offensively. I didn't talk about how she is on defense. Okay. If she plays the whole game tomorrow and she has to chase around MiLaysia Fulwiley, good luck. Good luck. Get your popcorn ready. Get your sweet tea on rocks. It's going to be fun tomorrow at Colonial Life Arena if she attempts to guard Fulwiley. Now, the first obstacle for Georgia is Raven. And Raven is 9th in the SEC in defensive rating. She's 12th in the SEC in steal percentage. She's 20th in the SEC in overall steals. This is why averaging about 22, 23 minutes per basketball game. Now with Fulwiley, they don't cover that in-depth stat thing because she plays under 20 minutes per game. But she has an defensive rating of 78.5, which is lower than Raven Johnson. She has a steal percentage of 4.0, which is higher than Raven Johnson. So Georgia gets Raven first, and then when Raven goes out the basketball game, she gets, in my opinion, the better defender in MiLaysia Fulwiley. Good luck, Georgia. Good luck. This is how it's going to be in a W when you have to go against multiple athletic, physical defenders like Fulwiley and Raven Johnson. Now, another big matchup that I'm thinking about is Sania on Clara Stratton. Clara has 2 inches on her. We got shot blocker versus shot blocker. Yeah, it's going to be fun, that matchup. But Sania gets some, and then probably Joyce gets some, and it's cool. It's fine. It's great. It's great. Because Sania herself is 5th in SEC in block shots per basketball game and total blocks. Last game, she had 5 block shots. What if that happens again on tomorrow? She's feeling herself right now. She's feeling herself, and defensively, her defensive rating is 77.7. That is amazing. Amazing post defense. And it's going to be needed against a player like Sarah. She's going to stretch the floor. I already talked about she's going to shoot about 3, maybe 4 3-point attempts, but she don't shoot them at a high clip, but she's going to stretch the floor. She is. And it's fine. It's fine. We got a plan for that. And if we talk about like how we can exploit, Kentucky's weaknesses or things that nature, with the Kentucky is 79th in 3-point percentage allowed. We're 130th defending in three. And I shouldn't say defending in three, in 3-point percentage right now. We're not shooting what we should shoot, but we shooting it. It's gonna. I keep saying it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. It's gonna be better. I believe tomorrow it's going to be better. I think we're going to be in a situation where Tessa finds a shot, Tahina finds a shot, and Fulwiley finds a shot as well. Although I don't want her shooting a bunch of threes. And lately, over the last 3, 4, 5 basketball games, she has not shot a bunch of 3-pointers. She is playing terrific basketball, with the exception against Ole Miss game. But most of our guards, if not all of our guards, didn't play well against Ole Miss. And I expect a complete reversal of that on tomorrow. Offensive rebounding percentage, we will do well in that regard. Offensive rebounding percentage. They are poor defensive rebounding team, and we will exploit that. Okay. Carolina is so good in so many different ways, and fourth and 2-point percentage allowed. That's going to be needed for us against a very solid basketball team who can put the ball in the basket in the post. Fifth in field goal percentage allowed. Fifth in blocks per game, and sixth in offensive rating, and eighth in block percentage, ninth in assist to turnover ratio. The things that Kentucky does well, we do a little bit better, while also playing a more difficult schedule. You know, I believe that we will win the basketball game. I do. There's no way we're going to lose this basketball game tomorrow on senior night, Colonial Life Arena. There's no way. We would have to shoot terrible. Kentucky have to be on fire from 3-point line, and everything will have to bounce their way. What I want in this basketball game against a team that is really good is for us to play with their hair on fire. I want us to rebound the basketball like crazy. I want us to share the basketball and make timely plays and buckets. I want the post to continue to be stellar. And I want Raven and Bree to shoot combined about 12 to 15 shots. That's what I want for this basketball team. I think Tessa is due for an outstanding basketball game. And I think that tomorrow afternoon will be the opportunity for her to start being the tournament Tessa that we know she can be. Kentucky, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss. This concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring that gospel Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now rocking with the best. Since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will.